What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, that you have more opportunity in front of you than at any other time in history? More chances to create wealth, more chances to create freedom, and more chances to build a life on your terms. And yet, most business owners and CEOs and entrepreneurs, they are struggling. They feel overworked, overwhelmed, and are stuck in a cycle of stress, burnout, and self sabotage. But what if I told you that it doesn't have to be that way? What if you could work less and gain more results? What if you could have more success with less stress? What if you could build a business that gives you more money, more time, more energy, and more freedom without sacrificing your health or your relationships? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to show you inside to become the 21st century entrepreneur through this 3-day challenge. And the best part, it's completely free. This is why I believe that you need this now, because the sad truth is that most entrepreneurs are playing the game the old way. They are grinding 24/7, thinking hard work alone will lead to success. They're chasing the money only to lose their health, relationships, and their happiness. They're trapped in a constant cycle of stress, burnout, self doubt, and frustration. Now, listen, I've seen this firsthand, and I've been hired and I've coached world famous CEOs, world champion athletes, movie stars, singers, and celebrities who from the outside looked like they had it all, but behind the scenes, they were struggling. Why? Because they never learned the new way of doing business, a way that allows you to build a thriving business while protecting your energy, your health, and your sanity to unlock more creativity, more productivity, and more impact without burning out, to be able to break free from fear, procrastination, imposter syndrome, and self sabotage. This is the 21st century way of doing business. This is how you create success that lasts. This is what I'm going to teach you in this 3-day challenge. Now, here's your solution and what you're going to get. Over the 3 transformational power sessions, we're going to come together live for about 90 powerful minutes every day. And I'm going to be walking you through so that you can create your own customized IMAP. That's an intelligent massive action plan. This is the same system that I've used where I learned how to have more energy, more passion, more freedom than ever before, even at almost 52 years old. I literally feel like I'm just getting started. I get to travel the world, take on new adventures, and keep growing year after year. I get to build a life that is not just about making money, but about making an impact. And now I want to gift this to you. Why? Because I believe that you were born for more, because the world needs more entrepreneurs who know how to create success without destroying themselves in the process. And because this one decision to show up for this challenge could be the turning point that changes everything for you. But here's the deal: opportunities like this don't wait. You either step forward and claim your future, or you stay stuck in the same cycle, hoping for change that never comes. This is your moment. All you have to do is click the link, register now, and show up ready to take action. And remember this: if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So let's make sure that your plan is one that gives you the success, the money, the freedom, and the life you truly deserve. So click the link, get registered, and I'll see you inside the challenge. This is your time, this is your future, this is the moment where everything changes, and I'll see you on the inside. So click the link and register now.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We are here. So, as always, let me know, where are you beaming in from? Let's make this conversation interactive. Don't let it be a podcast, because why? We're leading you up to this 3-day challenge where you're going to learn how to become the 21st century entrepreneur. Now, what does that give you? It gives you health. It makes sure that your body and your mind operate efficiently. It then makes sure that your body and your mind receives something where you get a download, you get an insight, you get an inner guidance, you get an intuition, and you start moving your life forward with this intelligence. Now, today's subject is all around frequency. When I first started mentioning this word, even in the business world, I could see like business owners and CEOs, and they were just going like, "What the hell is he talking about now? I just got to raise up my bottom line. All I got to do is get out of this challenge." Well, here's what I started to witness. Everybody would change; they'd be changing their mindset. Right, come on, we've got to get the mindset. We've got to, set the mind in this direction. The problem was they were leading themselves off a cliff. Now, bear with me because I want you to understand, without you understanding frequencies, you cannot become the 21st century entrepreneur. You cannot have that freedom, that success, that energy, the money, the adventures, all of that stuff consistently coming in without you being in the right frequency. This is like, okay, let me make this really simple for you to understand. If we're driving in a car and we're listening to the radio, and all of a sudden a song comes on and we don't like that song, because the car has a receiver, wherever the car goes, it's going to receive that signal. So could we drive away from that frequency that we tuned into? No, because wherever we go, we're going to be tuned into that frequency. We're going to be receiving the same stuff. That's why you can change your mindset, but if you don't change the frequency, you're going to be receiving the same stuff. And what does that mean? You're going to carry on getting the same results. What we want is you getting better results year on year by you doing what? Because here's what you got to understand. When people say what you give is what you get, it works like this. Imagine that you are launching a business that you want to make waves in the marketplace, and you drop your thing in the middle. That's going to make waves that go out. Now, depending on how those waves go out is going to depend on whether you get people hooked in to your products and services, or if they just ripple past them and they didn't even know you was there. So what we got to understand is we got to get you in to a frequency, because this is what you got to understand. The world is changing so fast. Now, before I go into the science around frequency stuff, I really want things to make common sense, because what science, nature explained, the more we start to understand nature, this planet, the cosmos that we're a part of, the more this intelligence will naturally start to breathe through us, because our awareness is now being expanded. And that's what we want. If we're in the business world, we're into such a small, minute part of life. However, you want to succeed. Why? More money gives you what? No, it doesn't give you more problems. It gives you more choices. Now, it's not going to get rid of your problems. We know that. Now, understanding the right frequency, here's what it does. Let's say that you're going to be in business, whether you're working for someone in business, whether you own the business, whether you're in a team, whether you're forming the team, whether you're working on the team, whatever it is, whether you want to create a team, you got to understand that your decisions, now please listen up, because this is super simple to understand, but very few people get it. And I really want you to get this. Does this make sense? Your professional success, your professional journey is going to come down to one thing: the decisions that you make. The decisions that you make. Now, if you make a decision, let's say that we've got from here to here, make sure you can look at the screen now. So let's say that from here to here, what you've got is the human frequency. Down here is like being in the sewers. Stinks in the sewers. It's cold. It's wet. There's no great stuff happening in the sewers. Where we want to get is up here in the penthouse suite, where you can see what's going on. You're in luxury. Now, if we call this frequency down here the sewer frequency, if we call that the dead frequency, listen to this. Have you ever been in the dead frequency where your mind takes over, you lose control of your emotions, stress might build up? All of those things means that in those moments, we literally feel like we're living in hell. Now, if you have been in the dead frequency, just type dead frequency in the chat. So I know you've been in. Now, I'll type it in because I've been there. But here's what I've learned: not to live there. Here's what happens to most people. if you understand energy, energy has an up and it has a down, has an up, has a down. Doesn't make one right or wrong. We got to learn how to ride out the entire wave. Now, what happens for some people is when they're up, oh my God, I'm loving life, loving this success, loving this money, loving this adventure, loving this person, loving this business, loving this product, whatever it might be, loving this team. But at some point, you know you're going to go through a dip. Now, what happens for most people as they go through a dip, instead of understanding where the current, where that energy is going to take them, instead of just still riding out the wave and sacrificing all the stuff from the brain, letting go of the thoughts that come up in those moments, because we have to understand that we're not our thoughts. Write this down. I am more than my thoughts. Write it down. I am more than my thoughts, which means that when you get something in your mind, if it isn't what you want, let go of it. You got to get in your mind what you want to focus on. That's it. It's a focus mechanism. That's why it was gifted to you. But if you let it become the boss, you're screwed up. So what happens is people go in this dip and then bam, they hit a ceiling. Because now they're limiting themselves with their own thoughts, their own beliefs, their own actions, and their own programs. Now, there's many more things. I'm just giving you the top four. Those four things keep someone trapped in this dead frequency, in like the sewers. And then what happens is they start making decisions from that place. Now, listen to this. You got to understand this. I'm telling you, this is how, when I go and work with world famous CEOs and I work on them, I get them into high frequency. Every decision they make changes. Why? Because of this. So imagine that there's all these different frequencies in between, but I'm just going to focus on the dead frequency at the bottom in the sewers and this supercharged frequency up here. Now, in the supercharged frequency, this is where miracles start getting born. We start understanding that we are more than the body, we're more than the mind, and there's this energy, this intelligence trying to breathe through us. It's given us life in our body. It's gifting us 50,000 new cells every 3 seconds. Now, as it gifts you all these 50,000 new cells that come from your stem cells, what happens is those cells get distributed around the body to where they're needed. Now, listen to this. You might need, now, think about it. If you're gifted 50,000 new cells every 3 seconds, in a year from now, most of the cells in your body are brand new. But listen to this. This is the kicker. Your organs need to be in a certain frequency to be able to function well. So does your blood. So do your bones. So do your muscles. Everything needs to be in a certain, so does your heart. If these things aren't in the right frequency, then you're screwed. So naturally, the body knows what to do when it comes to frequencies. Here's where we trip up as entrepreneurs, CEOs, business owners, because the energy comes up into the mind. And what happens is the mind is now moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And this frequency, it's like, have you ever seen somebody cut like to get a whole row, a whole lineup of cucumbers, and they're like, and they're chopping these cucumbers or they're chopping something in a line super, super fast. And you're like, what? I wouldn't like to be under that knife, be getting sliced up. Well, guess what? That's what's happening inside most people's minds when they're in the professional world. Their mind is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. They're not able to be fully present. They're not able to receive what life is giving them, their next best step, because they're stuck in the mind, or they're stuck with their old beliefs. They're stuck with the old programs. They're stuck with the old beliefs. And what do they then do? They make a decision from that point, and what does that do? It pulls them back to the past. Pulls them back to the past. So what does that do? Absolutely freaking screws up their future, and it screws up the now. So how do we change this? Well, as I said, you can't change your mindset because you're already in a certain frequency. Now, what does that mean? When you're in the dead frequency, I guarantee this, the mind will take control. Now, if your mind takes control, it's going to bring up all the negative stuff. It's going to bring up all the stuff that isn't working. It's going to bring up all the fears, the doubts, the worries, the stresses, the blames, the complaints, all of that stuff. And what's that going to do? Keep you trapped in a frequency where ultimately you become a victim. You don't want to become a victim in today's world. What you want to learn how to do is how to become a victor. So how do we do that? We go up in to what I call this supercharged frequency. Up in this supercharged frequency, guess what? That's like turning the dial on what you're receiving. So instead of being in the dead frequency, the poor me frequency, the victim frequency, where all of your energy is going to start to go down and down, your immunity is going to go down, your creativity is going to go down, your productivity is going to go down. All these things are going to start spinning down and down and down and down and down. You know that's not going to take you to results. So what have we got to do? We've got to change your frequency. Before we take another action step, before we have another thought, before we have another breath, before we get gifted another heartbeat, you've got to change you. You're expecting things in this outside world to change. It doesn't work that way. We've been led to believe a myth. We got to focus everything inwards. And when we go inwards, and we start, and by the way, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do this. And stay with, don't be thinking, oh my God, how do I do this? I'll show you exactly how to do this. Now, and that's what we're going to be doing in this 3-day challenge that is happening on Tuesday, 6:30 UK time. And you're going to be creating your IMAP. This is to become the 21st century entrepreneur. Without your IMAP, now I know as humans, we don't get gifted a user manual, and this thing obviously isn't user friendly because this intelligence is turning against most people. So what we don't want is you achieving the success but becoming someone where you're stressed out, becoming someone that stressed other people out, becoming someone where you've burnt out, where you've broken down or you've broken other people down. We want you and the people around you all rising up together so you get to celebrate what you've all done. Now, how do we do that? We got to teach you how to get in to this supercharged frequency. Now, what happens in the frequency? You start receiving the solutions. You start receiving the insights. You start getting shown the way forward. Now, to begin with, that can be scary because you start, questioning things. Oh my God, am I losing the plot? Is this the right path to go down? I mean, think about like the movie Indiana Jones. I don't know if you've ever seen that bit where he's being chased, and all of a sudden he goes through like a cave and he comes on the edge of a cliff, and it's like just a drop. And what does he do? He remembers that he's got to take that leap of faith. And he steps off believing. And what does he do? He walks on an invisible road or pathway to the other side. Everybody else comes out and they all die. And he escapes to safety. Well, those invisible paths, that's how you will start to be guided for you to have financial freedom, for you to have the success that you truly deserve, for you to be able to be better in business, where you become a better person. You'd be okay. Okay. Let's see. I want to run a little test with you. Think about all the people that are in business. Um, have they become better people by being in business? Yes or no? Come on, type in the chat. The people that you know in business, including you, have you all become better people by being in business? Now, what's happened for most people is the answer is no, because they've sacrificed part of their health. They haven't got control over their own emotions and their own intelligence. And they start basically living a life where they're completely off balanced. Well, on this 3-day challenge that we've got coming up, where you're going to create your IMAP, this is going to give you a roadmap how you can consistently learn how to be on track. Now, where's it going to lead you? Well, in the middle of March, I've actually got this 3-day event coming up online where instead of me talking about this supercharged frequency, I'm going to be guiding people in to that frequency. And when you go in that frequency and you experience it firsthand, you're going to be gobsmacked of like, oh my God, I've just got to get into this place and I then receive what I need to receive. And what does it do? It creates this flow. Anytime that someone's got writer's block, creative block, whatever the block is, I can tell you now it's because they're stuck in their head. They're trying to figure out with a brain that hasn't been exposed to the truth. So there's nothing wrong with the brain. It's searching for it, but it can't find it. What we now know, scientifically explained, we go within we get in the right frequency, we learn how to go within, guess what? The solutions just rise up. Because I guarantee this, as a problem is rising up in business, there is a solution rising up at the same time. You just got to learn how to shift your frequency. In fact, write this down. If I shift my frequency, I shift my life. Write it down. If I shift my frequency, I shift my life. So that's what we do at Supercharge Life is we take people multiple times throughout the day into this supercharged frequency where they start to receive everything that they're meant to be receiving, which gives them what? An inner guidance, an inner power, an inner belief, an inner strength. It just does so much more so the energy starts spinning upwards instead of it going downwards. And what's downwards? Breakdown. What's downwards? Suffering. What's downwards? Being on that hamster wheel, going round and round again, expecting a different result, but just doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different result, but getting the same results. You shift the frequency going upwards, then it's just law, my friend. You start reaping the benefits. So if you have got any value from this, please do like it. Please do share it. Please comment below. Make sure that you've registered for this 3-day challenge. It's coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 6:30 UK time. So from now until then, live strong, live healthy, live long. Make sure you live now. And for now, I'm out of here.